Hello, Gawain.
Hello.
You were late.
Sorry.
Oh, but when I'm late, it's all fucking this guy.
Who is the star of the show, Brandon?
It's the Brandon and Gawain show,
How did your name go first, by the way? Alphabetical. Makes sense.
and I'm better.
All right, I'm going to take one more bite of this and I'll be less annoying.
Okay, please be more annoying.
Oh.
Now, this is Zoran.
Zohran.
Zoran. I don't want to say his name, but I want to say his name because it's so exciting. Sick. Now, where are you? There you are. Gawain, you just muted yourself. Oh. There we go. Sorry?
How are you feeling?
Good, man. Not too bad. I think there's still like a lot of whatever you want to call it running through my body after that squat session. I feel pretty good.
Pre-workout?
Yeah, all I had is a double shot espresso. I don't take any like actual pre-workout anymore.
That's pretty good.
I think the anxiety of the session creates enough adrenaline.
I'm just pulling up your lifts for the week. Let's get to that squat in a moment, just because I obviously need to cover my own bases. Deadlifts were very good.
I was pumped after deadlifts.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about the day.
Like as in what I did that morning.
Yeah.
Like I got up, made breakfast, went to work. And I would like to say that I was present in the session, but I think it's highly doubtful because I was just thinking about deadlifts. Ate food, went to the bathroom, had my coffee, and I was pretty excited. I got to lift with Stenzel.
Yep. And he's a good bloke.
He is a great bloke. Yeah, man, just didn't really overthink anything. I just kind of went in. I knew I had a job to do, and I just did it.
Watching the film, right?
Are you watching my list right now?
Yeah.
So I was like, what is that background noise?
Watching the film, do you remember what they look like?
The deadlift?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Can you talk me through that?
I felt strong. Was the main thing. Like it was a funny story about the third rep in the first set, but
You shoot yourself?
no, I didn't shit myself. There was like a random guy looking at me through a window at the door at Valhalla, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" It's really off-putting. But I was really happy with the way I executed. Really happy with the timing over the knee. I felt like I was really strong through my mid, back, and core. Just felt good, man. Like I wasn't really thinking too much at all.
What's her name again? Jackie messaged me today.
Yeah, she meant to message you Friday, but forgot to hit send.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. The deadlifts were very good. PB, how big of a PB was it for you?
5 kilos.
It's a big PB. Now, and it's a PB, but it's also there's opportunity, obviously, room to still improve. That timing is a lot better, and when I refer to timing for anyone that's watching, the timing is the transition from off the floor, from the bar traveling from off the floor, breaking the floor past the knees, and then you're essentially locking the knees, pushing your hips through, or just flexing your glutes through. Ultimately, the way that I view the deadlift is that it's a push through the ground, and then the second cue would then be to look to then lock the knees, and then we're just essentially not pushing our hips through. We're just squeezing. We're squeezing our hips so that we're neutral, and then we're pulling our shoulders back. There's a lot of I always see the cue hips through. The problem is that if we're out of position at the beginning, I don't care how strong, how much of a hips through cue you can give. or you can take from that, it's not going to fucking get through. And the reality is the way that a lot of people are coached and a lot of people are training, predominantly speaking, both from a powerlifting perspective, but also an athletic development perspective. What we're trying to do is create, specific to the deadlift, is what we're trying to do is create greater efficiency, but also strength through the chain. And an easy way to sort of see issues with a lack of chain strength, you look at a lot of female lifters, predominantly speaking, within the powerlifting sport. If we park the technical side of things, they've come out of position because whomever it is hasn't actually educated them or taught them how to get in position and pull the transition off the floor. But what you'll find is that people who, and I don't know why it seems to be more of a female thing, but you find that women pull and then their hips are through, but their knees aren't locked. So they're out of position now, right? They actually haven't created that transition where they're locking the knees first and then pushing their hips through. Number one, it comes from a position perspective, but number two, obviously a weakness through their chain. So they need to be doing more RDLs, looking at the squat technique for it to be able to transition and carry over directly into the execution of your deadlift. So when I'm talking about, that transition for Brandon, it's break from the floor, lock the knees, pull the shoulders back, the hips should be already through. The reality is this as well. If we get to a situation, may not be a situation, say, in the next couple of weeks when we compete. Ultimately speaking, I would want to have the perception and the viewpoint of this at like a national championship, a world's, a pro raw, that sort of thing. If we need to get to a situation where we need to go, okay, we're going to have to really sort of go 100 out of 100 here and be absolutely perfect, right? The only way that you're going to get that is if you're efficient with your technique, is if your timing is correct, right? And that's locking the knees first and getting the hips through second, right? We ultimately want to get you to the point where you don't have to think about it and we just execute. But if we get to that point, there is a reason why we make it so pronounced earlier on. Yeah. That's why we look at the technique with the pause squats. That's why we look at the technique with the comp squats. That's why we look at technique around safety bars, RDLs, SDLs, whatever it may be, to put us in the position now for the transition of obviously later on in the program so that we can execute at a high level, right? And get what we can from it. It's not just an hypertrophy perspective. It's a performance. We're a performance sport, and ultimately, these are the even things like bodybuilding is a performance sport at the end of the day, right? So that's great. We can still be a little sharper. I would begin to, obviously in the coming weeks, have the expectation and challenge you around the fact that we can be a little bit sharper, right? It's great compared to from where we were. Let's call it from where we were at a 5. Right now, we're like at a 7 or an 8, which is great. But when it comes to shit hitting the fan sort of scenario, when it comes to comp day, we need to be, I would challenge you and expect you to be, okay, we're humming right now. I'm not even thinking about my technique. We're going to be 9 out of 10, bang, 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 bang. Let's be efficient, particularly in our warm-ups for comp day as well. Yeah?
Yep.
So deadlifts were good. The whatever Jackie did, you saw Jackie fairly recent around
last Friday,
right?
Yeah, the Friday before my deadlift.
Yeah. The squats, the safety bar squats, looked really good as well, which is great. The position with the hips and obviously the situation with the hip shift and that sort of thing. You pulled up all right.
Brilliant. Yeah. What she's done to my back and my hips is made a world of difference.
Yeah, great. So that's good. So we're ticking boxes, which is amazing, right? And we're in territory where we've never been before. Amazing. We're healthy. We're stronger. We're happier. Great. Let's move on to the next one, so we can continue on. What's your sleep score been? What day is it? Wednesday. You have to forgive me if I'm a little erratic. I'm still in like banking mode, so like I'll tend to just like blah 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 really really quick.
That's fine.
What's your sleep score been this week?
It has been 86.
Oh man, great. With an average of what?
7 hours and 10 minutes. Obviously, since our last call on Saturday, that's only like 4 days worth, but still really good.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that.
Cool. I'm happy with that too. Your body weight went up. Your
Body
food went
weight's up. Yeah.
What we needed, right?
Yep.
How are you going with that?
It's getting a lot easier.
Do you find that you're hungrier now, particularly given the fact we're at higher tonnages?
No. I think it's always around this point that I've noticed in the last few blocks we've done and the 2 week heavy weeks and then coming to the deload. It's around this point where my appetite's really starting to go, and I'm like, okay, cool, now it's deload time.
Yeah.
That's when I'm able to. That's like my first indicator where I'm like, okay, I need a deload.
100%. Yeah, 100%. So food, your appetite, as soon as that goes to shit, your sleep goes to shit, your mood goes to shit. That's a clear indicator that something is not right. So, and a lot of the times, particularly for all of us in the room, specific to yourself, it's I'm pushing too fucking hard right now. And that might be training, that might be work, that might be relationships or whatever it is. But we need to obviously look at this holistically.
Yeah. And I can see it across the board. Like, obviously we got 2 big days of comps coming up this weekend. So I know I've been pushing hard. I know I've been working X amount of hours, and I know I've been sacrificing other things outside of that, which if they were in play, I'd probably feel a little bit better right now, but that's my career.
Yeah. It's got to be done.
Yeah.
Easy. Cool. Our weight's up great. I lost my train of thought. But the weight's up great. Food is up great. Do you know what the calories are? What's she up to?
Yeah, 5,000 consistently.
Okay, cool.
So every day.
Yeah. Okay. You look good, especially since you've had a hard session today, which is great. But we'll get to that in a moment. It's hard to have this conversation now and not be proud of you already, but we'll get to it.
Everyone, he said he's proud of me. So glad I recorded this.
Everyone leave. Would not much to really sort of talk about with this secondary bench session. That's good. It's just predominantly like a shoulder extra pressing day.
Well, that one was a bit different because I did that last week.
Yeah.
And I think we spoke about it on Saturday because I was really fatigued. Yeah, because I was really fatigued because I had that chuck, remember?
Yeah, you had the little tum-tum.
It was just a hard session.
Little tum-tum. It's all right, little tum-tum.
But no, that was good. So I've pushed that session back this week, obviously because of the comps.
On Saturday, Sunday.
Comp Saturday, Sunday. So I'm deadlifting Friday afternoon, night this week.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do that session Saturday afternoon after the competition.
All right, cool. Let's just park that for a second.
Yeah.
Let me just sort of get across the bench.
Let's
talk about the bench real quick this week.
Okay, I'm stoked with that.
Yeah, I know you're stoked with that.
That's all I've got is that I'm stoked. Leading into it, I actually felt shit going into it.
Why are you stoked?
One, because not that it's because of 7.5 kilo PR on the best triple I've ever done, but I know that there's more in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so it was programmed at 135. That moved, like, that fucking shocked me at how good that moved. And I made the call with Lily to go 137. Because watching the film back, I was like, it's there. Like, I know 100%. Probably on a good, like, if I didn't do that 135 first, I probably could have hit 140 for a triple. But I can't say yes. I can't say I didn't. I could, sorry. So 137 was the right call. I think I executed very well. I think my leg drive is coming a lot better and becoming more second nature. Mm-hmm. Best part was it didn't feel heavy in the hands. And obviously that lift out from that confidence. Once it hits the hands and it doesn't feel fucking heavy, I was on for all money.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, the timing with the bench press, when we have that conversation around timing with the bench press, it's the translation of the bar being touching the chest, and then the hip drive that we're using to press the bar up off the chest, and obviously transitioning into the actual extension of the press. So that's what we're talking about. Cool. And it is getting better, so that's great. The better we can obviously continue to switch that on and use that from a rep perspective, the better we're going to be in the closer we come to comp, which is great. I still need to keep your volume quite high. right now, and also because your training is telling me that we're getting better and we're getting stronger. So I'm gonna run with that, right, until I can see that your body begins to go, I can't keep up with this.
That's a very technical term there.
The technical term is but training and your body works in ebbs and flows. It's not linear. My job and what I believe separates me from my peers is my ability to be able to read that and go, okay, we have room to play. Let's play with that, whatever it may be. Maybe we don't. Cool. The slingshot was good.
Yep, slingshot was good. Again, much better execution, felt better in the hands, had a lot of confidence off the back of hitting that PR, bench, raw. I didn't try and push it overly. I think I played it smart, and we executed on reps that were there instead of trying to push for a bit more overload in terms of rep scheme.
Mm-hmm. That's the idea.
So yeah, it's good. Slingshot back off after. Oh no, the back off before that was really good. I was stoked with it. Good environment. Nailed it.
Cool. As we said, I used the slingshot to overload the lockout because I find that it's safer. I find that it's it translates better into the bench press as opposed to blocks or boards. I know there are a lot of guys and girls that like blocks and boards. I just find it's more natural this way. But we use it from a rep perspective, not just not just loading it all the way up.
Yeah.
So it's safer as well.
I think another good thing to add in about the slingshot is that it teaches you. It will highlight your weakness. If you're shit in your upper back, it's going to highlight that because it's going to pull you out of position.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's one thing I use with my own clients is slingshot to really cue upper back tightness, pulling the scapula down. Because if you don't use the slingshot how it's meant to be,
you're cool.
It's going to fuck you up.
Yeah, well, 10% more, it's going to fuck you up.
100%.
So cool. I'm really happy. I'm really happy with that bench press. So I'll continue to ride that wave. I'm going to continue to keep adding volume, not add volume, but keep volume high until I begin to see. Yeah, I already got an idea what the next few weeks is going to be anyway. So we'll just see what happens. Okay, cool. Before we get to your squat tonight, talk to me about. Can you just check on me what your activity is like for me as well?
Like stepwise?
Yeah. Because obviously we've gotten heavier. We've increased calories, but I just want to sort of gauge your activity.
Today has been 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
Or like 10,492.
Yeah.
Which isn't usually as high, but I had, because of the comp this weekend, I sat down for 2 hours podcasting today instead of Saturday.
Okay. But is there an average over the week?
Oh. The average, it doesn't have an average, it just has my total this week so far.
So
my total this week so far is, you said average, 37,737.
By 3.
Divided by 4. Sunday didn't have many steps. Yesterday, just for everyone listening, I did 18,140.
You need to talk to Zoran. Zoran's doing like 25,000 a day most days.
Fuck you, Zoran.
Zoran is an athlete.
A what?
An athlete.
You're not even an athlete. You're an athlete.
Yeah, he's an athlete.
You're another step above when you accentuate the H.
Exactly.
Zoran.
Zoran. So great. Okay. So activity is high enough where it's not excessive, and obviously, our weight is going up, which is great, and it's not going up because we're too much the other way. Sometimes when you're too stressed and there's too much inflammation, your body will go up that way. So that's not obviously what we want. We're continually getting better. We continue, in a state of getting that medium level of sleep, and stress. So we're good. Talk to me about the squat then today. That just happened.
Yeah, fuck. Okay, so yesterday and today was a day. Like they were big days in terms of a lot of external stress. So I was a bit like going into today, I was a little really, what's the word? Timid. It's probably a better word. I knew I had 12. I knew I could do 212, like, but I
Just for everyone
failed.
watching, 212 is 12 kilos above your previous 1 rep max.
Yes, and I had it for a triple.
And you had it for a triple. Okay.
So, and I knew I had confidence coming off last week because 207, I was like, fucking nailed this cup. Like, this is my bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming today, I was a little bit timid just through external shit that clogged my mind. I didn't execute the way I wanted, and I fucked the first set royally.
Mm-hmm.
How? Sorry?
How?
I didn't attack the hole. I was very loose up top. I lost positioning in the hole. And to the compensation of that was that the bar rolled and my thoracic fucking collapsed over to try and compensate.
Mm-hmm.
So I missed the third rep and I was pissed, but not pissed, like angry at myself. I'm going to go fucking bash myself. Mm-hmm. I just literally went into, like, just removed myself, went into my office, then went to the bathroom, had a really long, good talk to myself in the mirror, like legitimately.
That's fine.
If anyone walked in, they would be like, this cunt is on crack.
I tell people you're on crack anyway, so it's all good.
That's okay. I'll run with it. It explains my personality.
Yeah. Explains your teeth.
My teeth are great, motherfucker.
I'm kidding.
My mother spent like X amount of dollars on these teeth.
Bless you, Miss Greco.
Anyways, we are retarded. So yeah, literally spoke to myself in the mirror, told myself to put my shit together because I know I could do it. Went back down and put my headphones in, put on what gets me to a place where I need to go, and then I was like, it's time. Fucking attack this cunt.
That's what I'm proud of you about. That entire sequence. I couldn't give a happy. Yeah, good job. You do the PB. Everyone does PBs, but like what people don't do is get themselves out of a fucking hole mentally. That's the hardest part, right? To be able to convince yourself that, particularly after just a situation not that long ago, you just kind of dug yourself a big hole and you've mentally stepped your way out. That's great. That's what I'm proud of you about. So good job on that side of things. You're spot on with the analysis around what happened with your technique. We lost tightness. The bar rolled over. We hesitated. And preps are set up. Well, the way I do preps are set up so that we're reaching markers where it's going to test us, and it's meant to be heavy. We've had this conversation many times. Right now, it's fucking meant to be heavy. And it's meant to test you. It's not just meant to it's definitely within your strength range. You probably, if you were absolutely perfect, I reckon we could squeeze out another 2.5, 5 kilos, right?
Yeah.
But 2.5, 5 kilos is going to be too much for your technique, right? In a sense, that is literally the marker for you from where I know you can mentally sort of dig yourself out of, right? You're nearly at full capacity. So take that for what it is and put that in your fucking backpack because we're going to run with that the rest of the prep, right?
100%.
That's what we're going to be living off. Cool. I don't really have a whole lot of feedback because you're spot on. What I would ask you, what I would pose to you is this. We ended up doing it for another set. I only wanted you to hit one to two sets. Consider the fact how much that first set took out of you. Right? Now, when we had this conversation about something completely different, but think of the micro around that and how that poses into the macro of what we're trying to do. And if we were to do that week by week, right? We continue to ace the micros every day. So it turns into that macro and we can ace the rest of this prep.
Yep.
Right. The fact that not only is there room to move from the actual analysis of the video from a speed perspective, because that's the reality. We're looking at speed and we're looking at technical breakdown. But what we're also looking at is effort. The fact that we overextended ourselves in the first set and then we aced the second set tells me that we can actually do that for a third set and we're actually stronger than what we actually think we are. Yep. Like I'm saying, that 2 to 5 kilo range, right? So again, take that for what it is, park that. We're better than what we were today. But we made some big leaps and bounds today, which is great. Yeah. How did the rest of the session go?
It's good. The high bars, I was pretty fucked afterwards. The high bars were good. I got them done. Leg press was fine, and then just did my abs. And
have a little tum tum.
no,
Okay.
that was good.
Okay.
Just last week got me. Fuck. But no, I think like looking back and reflecting on today, and I had Stenzel in again tonight. He came in to help me and get around me for that, and I thank him for it because we could look at. It was good to have someone of his experience there and go and ask me similar questions and go, okay, well, what do you think went wrong? And then we were able to kind of pose that around, like, you know, he gave me a little cue to help with scap retraction in the squat, which, you know, I can take into next week and implement and things like that, and dissect the day and go, cool, not everything's going to be perfect, but there's things I can do in a day that if I can tick those boxes, those little micro things, that even if I have a shit day, I can go into a session, okay, and at least give myself the best opportunity.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that I can recognize I failed to execute on in today, just like my general day, my normal routine, that would have, I guess, in my warm-ups made things feel a little bit more on.
Cool.
And I know what they are, and I know how I can put in measures to execute on that next week.
Cool. We'll just keep ticking boxes.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful. I don't remember what I planned for you deadlift on the weekend.
242 and well, you've written 240 to 242.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go 242.
Okay.
Like, and I know I've got that.
Yeah. I know that you've got. I know that you know that you've got that. But at this point in time, I don't want to cook you.
Yeah.
So it's more than enough to get you stronger. I believe it's enough. It's not enough where it's gonna cook you, right? Again, I never tell you what to do. I set you challenges, right? What I would ask of you and what I would challenge of you going into the training session on Friday is probably two things. The first thing being, you got 1 day less recovery. So be anticipatory of the fact that your warm-ups are going to feel like shit, right? Now, with that on board, that's going to play a lot of that's got a lot of mental warfare right there, right? I have lived that training life alongside a lot of people, you included, and knowing that a lot of the times, particularly in preps, and when we get real deep into prep, that sometimes things just they're not fucking feeling good. But a lot of sometimes you don't have a choice. You need to go, right? Be weary of the fact it's going to feel like crap. Be weary of the fact that you're going to feel like crap, right? But know that it's a weight range where you can definitely get it done. The second part of the challenge is this. All the technical stuff that we had that conversation about just before the beginning of this conversation. But it's one set, right? You need to ace that one set. So be perfect for that one set.
And that's for me, going into, you know, everything you just said was correct. Like by Friday afternoon, you can ask any of my clients, I'm an absolute grumpy cunt. I feel like shit.
Yeah.
I mean, and every other time of the day too.
Okay.
But so I know, like, and after today, it's given me a lot of confidence to go, even though things feel like shit, if I can tick boxes on Friday, I will go into that session with a fucking raging.
Don't say hard on. That's weird.
Yeah, and I wasn't gonna say hard on, but that's the first thing that came to my head. I'm gonna go in raging to fucking just execute on one set. I know it's one set, and that one set's gonna require my 100%.
Yep.
And if I can focus on that, I'm good.
Yeah. And that's all it's gonna take. Because your body will get through it, right? But mentally, I need you to be on. That doesn't mean fire up to 12. That means channel what we've got.
Yeah.
The anxiety that we do have into focus.
Yeah. And like, again, I read those messages from last Wednesday today.
Yeah.
after I fucked up that first set, because it's like, if I go to 12, I'll fuck up.
Yeah.
If I go too hype, if I go that way too much, I'm gonna fuck up. If I can like simmer on a great 10.1, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'd ask you to simmer on 8 or 9 right now, but if that's what we require right now, okay.
I'll go to 10.5. No, okay.
10.5. Okay, cool.
You twisted my arm, I'll go to 11.
All right, we're just gonna go all out. We're smelling salt and everything.
Why not?
Cool. 242. Is that a PB for a triple?
It's a 12.5 kilo PB.
Okay, good.
Everyone's like, are you hitting a PB this week? I'm like, it's all PBs.
Yeah.
Everything's a PR right now.
Right now it's a PR.
My life right now is a PR.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on a coaching call with you at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. My life's a PR.
Yeah. Shut up. And then we're gonna go down next week.
Yeah, so next week's a deload.
Yeah, next week. I would 85%. I know the last time we did 80%. 85%. I need to keep you ticking over because of the differences in actual overall tonnage.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm gonna next week's training schedule is gonna change a little bit again.
Yeah.
Because I know after this next 2 days of competitions and coaching, I'm gonna be fucked. So I will rest all day Monday, come in on Tuesday, and just hit it.
Yep, that's cool.
You're cool.
I know. I scored 1,000. That's what happens.
Twice.
Cool.
You're a fuck.
What a dick move.
Hey, did everyone know he squatted 1,000?
Nah, they can't respond. They're on mute.
Hey, Ariane, did you know he squatted 1,000 twice?
I was there for both of them.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, he was.
What a shout out.
Mashallah. All right, cool. I don't have anything else.
We got some questions.
Oh, do we?
Yeah. You're like, fuck, I was hungry.
I was hungry.
So am I. So, well, I did send you that first question, which I did say nothing was off limits, but...
What was the first question?
Okay, well, this is from... I'm going to call this person out. Joey Pav.
He was just at my place.
Really?
Yeah. What do you want?
He said, if Gawain told me I could pull 10% more if I wear a butt plug while deadlifting, is this true? Is it true, Gawain? Is this personal experience?
What a dickhead. What a dickhead. Why don't I like this?
I'm going to say it's not true because I would feel like there'd just be too much going on down there.
Have you shut yourself training before?
All the time. I have bowel issues. Yeah, dude.
Oh, that's right. You actually have bowel issues.
Yeah.
Does that mean you bring spare pairs of drawers?
I always have spare pair, bro.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
And like, I will throw Pagan under the bus here. Like, there was times he must have the loosest sphincter ever. He would just finish a set of squats, take his wraps off, and wouldn't say anything. Just walk straight to the toilet. Damn. And we just know he shit himself. Like, it's a thing.
Jesus.
I know.
Queensland boys are fucked up.
Well, anyways, we'll move on from this.
Yeah, we'll move on from that, bro.
Next question. Why did you choose Coach G as a coach? I think I've answered this before.
Because you're an idiot.
I fucking am an idiot. Like, anyone listening to this, do not choose him. But in seriousness, I think it comes from, obviously I've known Gawain for 4 years now. Met you in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So I've built a relationship with him. He knows my life pretty much.
I'm your mother's third child.
There's already 3 of us, so you're her
fourth
4th
child.
child. You're her favorite son.
I'm her favorite son.
Yes.
Wait, you know another sister that I don't know about?
I got 2 sisters. I'm editing this part of the thing out. Yes, I have two sisters. They are way prettier than me, but I clearly got the brains and the brawn.
Yeah, okay.
And no one agreed with that.
Yeah,
Wow.
no.
Crickets. No, so I chose G because we built a relationship. I know how he thinks. I agree with a lot of his thought processes. I knew it'd be someone that, again, like what you put it perfectly before, like you don't ever tell me what to do, you challenge me. And that's what I'm looking for, because I think it's that accountability through challenge. That's what drives me. I also knew it would be personable. It's not some, like, I see a lot of coaches obviously being in the industry, and something that I try and emulate as well is I want it to be individualized. I know there's other stresses in life that we can adjust for, account for. I think there's just too many big coaches that all try and fit someone into a system of what they think is best. And I just didn't want that. And I think I trust G to do that probably more than any other coach. So I was like, oi, coach me. You don't actually have an option here.
The money is in your account. You don't have a choice.
I literally did. I literally sent just, I was like, you didn't even tell me how much. So I just sent you whatever. Mind you, I think I'm due for the next one too.
pay your invoices. Nah.
Send me an invoice. Be professional.
No. I think that I don't want this to be a sales thing. This should be about you. But
no, please.
That,
it's the Gawain and Brandon show.
Shut up. Nothing. No. There shouldn't be anything templated. And I think there should not ever be anything templated, in my opinion. But the problem is that, you know, I could never be in a position where I could coach 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 guys, girls a week, unless it was templated. And I just can't. I don't have that time. I barely have the time. Before COVID, I had 15 lifters, 15 athletes. And like, even then I was fucked. And I'm like, nah, I can't. Even then I was like, nah, I can't handle all this. Plus, because of, you know, being a schmuck banker. So
you are a schmuck. But I think, like, the other thing that annoys me about templates, and this is just a general rant, is that stepping through the education and spending a lot of time around people like, you know, Paul and the shallows of the industry, Jordan Shallows of the industry, it's like there is so much from execution point of view and integrating movements to actually provide a result that we can get from being specific with our programming. A template, like if I ever program someone and it's like deadlift row, if I just write rows, please kick me in my dick.
I'm so lazy.
Yeah,
lazy.
like there is so much more specificity that I could add to. I can't say that word, so fuck you all.
Was that Nicola?
Yeah.
Nicola, my God.
No, it's so fucked.
Specificity?
I don't give a fuck. The point is, you've really ruined this. But
I miss Nicola. She's funny.
Yeah. And then, like, but there's so much more I can add to that, to someone's program, and get a better outcome by fucking being specific. Did I say that right? Oh, okay. I felt like I said Pacific Ocean, so.
Okay.
All good. Anyway, the point is, that's why I chose G. That is a good question. Now, we have one more question, and I know you said it was answered B, but I'm not sure if we did. Maybe I did. Conquering a mental hurdle with a lift and tips, etc. I think it comes down. Oh, do you want to go first?
No.
You're shit. This is literally just a Brandon show. I think it's about everything we said before, but I had this really good chat with Matt Senzel tonight, and I wish he was actually on here because he explains things way better than I do. He's very articulate. We compete in a sport that's an amateur sport, but requires a professional approach. Like, we have to be prepared, and we have to tick all those boxes that we continually say every day, doing the little things to execute on the big things. I know that if I have certain things throughout my day that I tick off, I'm good. Yeah, I could have had the worst day ever, and I can get under a bar and things still feel relatively good enough for me to execute on the session. It's when I don't do those things that I fail. Or not that I fail, but I execute poorly and shit goes wrong. And I think it's about allowing yourself to go to a place that you need to, to do what needs to be done. And that's as simple as it is. And sometimes that is just having a hard conversation with yourself, looking yourself in the mirror and going, why are you being such a fucking pussy? That's my tips. Stop being a pussy.
Good tip.
Thanks, bro.
Can you read me the question again, just so I can think about it a little deeper?
Why is G's head so big?
It's an Asian thing.
It's not even close. Asians have small heads.
I have very good specificity around the size of my head and the explanation. Idiot.
Why are we friends? It says conquering a mental hurdle with a lift, and then like / tips, etc.
What sort of mental hurdle are we talking? Are we talking like mental hurdle as in like the actual number of the lift, or in general?
So the B, you can feel free to jump in if you want to, but the response or the message came through is that she is actually terrified to squat right now, so much so I think I psyched myself into a panic attack on Monday.
Because why? Why are you afraid to squat?
B, jump in. Just unmute yourself.
No, I have. It's all good. I don't know what happened. It was wraps. I don't know why. Yeah.
Sorry, G, I'll jump in. I just want to get more clarity around this question. And B, I know obviously because you train at Valhalla a lot, I've been privileged to see your progression. Now you've recently changed coaches.
Yeah.
And I firstly want to say that I think that's a really good decision for where you were and where you're going.
Uh-huh.
Do you think the amount of change that's been incorporated though has you second guessing weights you could have done with old technique?
I don't think it was that. I think it was more the shock of hopping into
Wraps again?
Yeah.
Now, is this something like you're self-wrapping or?
I haven't ever had an issue with self-wrapping in the past.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. Seriously, I hit a wall. Yeah, I don't know.
Is it a wall in the weight, or is it just you actually going in and actually lifting in general, the squat session?
Yeah, I'm heading in. It isn't the weight at all. The weight's easy.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I end up having to coach, choosing to coach.
Yeah.
A lot of females, and I've had probably half a dozen women, whom have had mental blocks, if you want to call them that, where they would actually struggle to go in and actually get a lift in, and we could be working like 70-75%. I'll give you an example, and this person, I know her so well, she'll be okay with the fact that we're actually using this to help someone out or help people out. I coached Amanda Price, who is a super female lifter, super heavyweight.
Yeah.
An amazing lady, fucking really, really strong. A 500 kilo total. The thing that held her back from going, well, it was more than 500. I can't remember exactly what her best ever was. It was well over 500.
It was a lot.
It was like mid 500s. What stopped her from going 600?
Yeah.
Was exactly that.
Yeah.
And at times where we'd have to have conversations, she'd message me, call me, whatever it may be, and we needed to go. Mind you, she could squat like 260.
Wow.
Right? She would get under 140 kilos and be like, gee, I can't do it today.
Yeah.
So the conversation then needs to be, okay, that's totally fine. You don't have to squat today. You don't have to train today, right? But what I would ask you is, what else have you done today besides worry about lifting today? That's the conversation that I began after it happening a few times and sort of wondering why the fuck this would happen.
Oh, it hasn't ever happened.
Yeah. I found from my experience, it was just one of those things where kind of very similar to what Brandon was talking about. The fact that he had a scenario where things weren't going really well throughout the day, put him in a bad situation, even though he's really aware. So it's a credit to himself. But a lot of times, our mental barriers are completely unbeknownst to ourselves.
Yeah.
And we get to a situation where a little bit, an element of fear sort of pops up, and we
Yeah.
just can't. And
Yeah.
that's totally fine. What I would say is, if you don't do these sort of things already, and it's something that I've talked about before, is setting daily goals.
Yeah.
Do you set daily goals and
Yeah.
things like that?
Yeah, I do. I haven't an option.
Like, I think what I want to jump in real quickly again. Talking about what G spoke about before, about how taking a holistic approach and looking at everything as a whole. Like, you're being challenged right now as well a lot in your study.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of challenge going in there. Like, you know, sometimes by the end of the day, the last thing you fucking want to do is go challenge yourself in the gym. Like,
Yeah,
that creates a lot of anxiety in itself.
Yeah.
And then having to throw on a fucking pair of wraps, which, like, in the knowing you personally, be like your history with anxiety and that constriction feeling can sometimes just be all it takes to send you over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's, again, looking at the whole picture. I think it's about stripping back and maybe before going to the gym, taking 30 minutes for yourself and just really grounding yourself back in, going, okay, cool. Today's done. What can I do to fill me back up before I need to go execute on this job?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Right now, that period of time, that lifting, that session, you classify that as your time. It's your time to be you and do the things that you enjoy, and that's lifting weights.
Also true. Cool.
Sick.
Thank you.
Anytime. Now, that was all for the questions. Does anyone have any other questions before we jump off? Because Gawain's really hungry. He's still eating that apple.
Well, I was respectful.
First time for everything.
Well, to other people.
We're funny. I'm going to take that as a no from the questions. I have a question. Drew has a question. Sorry. It's coming up.
You can just unmute yourself.
I love how people are respectful of us, that they don't do that.
Sorry.
No, I mean, they can do that, but I'm just like, I love how respectful people are. Maybe we're just assholes. Just bite the fucking apple. Yeah, but he didn't unmute himself. Drew, just unmute yourself.
What am I doing?
There we go.
I had it literally typed out bar 2 words. So mainly for Gawain, but I suppose you could probably answer this too, Brent.
No, it's all right. Don't give me the pity shout out. It's cool, Drew.
So what are some factors that you look for when you're doing your programming to look into taking consideration for a deload? Like, is it like a slowness to like the lifts, or personal factors that
for me or other people?
Both, really.
I'll give it to you for me, because and you can make it relatable, and it's easier that way. I know for me, I'm a poor sleeper as it is. So as soon as I get to a point where I'm really, really restless at night, and my sleep goes from 6 to 7 hours to 4 to 6, or if I'm waking up consistently, that's the biggest indicator for myself. As soon as sleep goes off the edge, you're not only are you fucked now, you're fucked for days. Yeah. Because if a lot of the times when you're overtraining and when you need the deload, we're just so ingrained, particularly in powerlifting and bodybuilding and strongman, that to just push through. And the problem is when you go off the cliff, it's literally a cliff. Mm. It can be so difficult to come back up the cliff and then ride the wave again to get to where you were, right? So as soon as my sleep quality begins to deteriorate, as a surprise to Brandon, my mood is normally happy go lucky. I'm hoping Zoran fucking backs me up for that.
Zoran.
As soon as my mood goes to shit, other things that I look at is my resting heart rate. That'll obviously increase as well because there's a lot more inflammation. What I didn't do today, only because I know Brandon squatted earlier today, so he is going to be inflamed. So I would look at him, and I had this conversation with Zoran as well. I look at him if he lifts his glasses up, and if his cheekbones and things are starting to get a little bit puffy, bags under his eyes, that sort of thing, I know that he's accumulated too much inflammation or he's not recovering. So I actually need to get him to, I would then get him to deload, look at his supplements. Is he taking turmeric and curcumin, all that sort of stuff? Does he need to jump in and start doing some hot and cold treatment, some cryo, that sort of thing? Sleep, appetite, inflammation are probably the three biggest things for myself.
Yeah, I agree with everything Gawain said, and
You're boring.
I'm not. Fuck you. I'm getting a new co-host. Someone way more cuter.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew that I'd hit you where it hurts. Now, as I was saying, I'm going to disagree with everything you just said, just for the point. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I agree with everything you said. For me, it's a bit different because I work predominantly a lot with people face to face, so I get to see them more regularly, and I get to kind of regulate them myself. Usually, I look for every 2 to 3 weeks, I'll have a planned deload in their program already. But if they've come in and they look like absolute shit, I'll call it right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also hard working with people's day jobs. Like I look at one of my lifters, Brock Ridsdale, one of the sexiest men on the planet, but also like the guy's on a job site all day doing lifting, timber, putting frames together. Like he's a chippy by trade. Working with him has taught me a lot about how to pick and choose when to deload. And we've got it now down to a fine art where I know as soon as the first sign comes out, he walks in the gym and he's got like just the way he holds himself, I'll be like, all right, cool, let's deload. I think it's becoming, and having data, now that I track a lot more data, it's also a lot easier to calculate when and see patterns. But it just comes from experience more than anything, I believe.
I think also, Drew, you may have been looking for telltale signs from the actual lifting, maybe from a speed perspective of the actual lift. So very dependent on the lifter. It's hard to tell with the faster lifters when to deload them. The considerations would be around the type of lifter they are, the body weight, the where they're at in their programming and that sort of thing as well. So, for example, with the super, I'll be looking to deload them earlier and quicker. And then with an ecto like Brandon, I can obviously force him a little bit more and push his frequency and push his tonnage a little bit further because I know he can tolerate because he's not very strong. So it only matters. So it's a little different, right? But those things definitely. But in regards to the speed thing, it's obviously really different to everyone. Sometimes you get people who are really, really fast. You look at the way Zoran lifts. He's very, 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 very explosive. Compared to say Arian, who is also fast, but I would say he's more slow twitch than completely all fast twitch.
Right, thank you.
I think one last thing is I think, and I judge my own, is as soon as I lose my appetite, I know I need a deload.
Yeah,
that's just one of the biggest indicators. Sick.
Repeating what I said. Cool.
Thank you.
Fuck, I hate you. Fuck you. We are no longer friends. Ariana's now coaching me.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Take me back. All right. Is that all the questions? Ariana just got excited and then I just broke his heart. Sick. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us again. We'll probably be maybe around this time again next week. I kind of like this time.
Yeah, I like this time.
I like you sometimes. Yeah. You kill me. All right, team. We will see you next week. Thank you for joining us. Peace.
Peace.